What is up to the Transparency Thursday afternoon live. Cheers. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Happy hour. Recap it with me.
There's no question from both the defense and state that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence.
In Beaver County handed down a guilty verdict today in the trial of Sheldon Jeter Jr. Jeter convicted of shooting and killing his friend Tyreek Pugh last year. Nicole Ford is live with reaction from lawyers on both sides. Nicole.
Ken, there is no question from both the defense and state that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence in this case. Well, it wasn't clear following closing arguments which way the jury would go. This afternoon, they convicted Sheldon Jeter Jr. for first-degree murder. Nearly 2 weeks after Sheldon Jeter Jr. first entered this courtroom, he's now leaving convicted of murder.
He thanked us for our work, and we'll have an opportunity to talk to him later.
While defense attorney Michael Santacola doesn't know what the 23-year-old is thinking, he exclusively tells KDKA he's surprised by the verdict.
If you watch the closings and you watch some of the presentation of the evidence, some of the cross-examination, I think there was reason to pause. Obviously, the jury was not unanimous in the beginning of their deliberations, so somebody was thinking not guilty or something other, and they were convinced otherwise.
But Santacola tells me he wouldn't change anything. He believes the defense put up the best case possible. And the Beaver County District Attorney David Lozier says the same for his team.
You never know what a jury is going to do. A jury is a black box that you pour information into, and depends on the life experience of those 12 jurors. So you never really know what they think is going to be significant. So you're always surprised when a jury can reach a verdict on a complex case in just about 7 hours.
That verdict was met with mixed emotions from the families. Tears from Jeter Jr.'s side and gasps of relief from Tyreek Pugh's family. Lozier says they may never know why Jeter shot Pugh, but now they have some justice.
I believe Sheldon Jeter has a flash temper. I think that might have been what happened in this case. And we've seen other incidents in the past. There were 1 or 2 incidents in the courtroom. I think we saw his flash temper surface and then go away very quickly. Aliquippa was very...
Welcome to the Transparency. When you get to do live catch-ups with myself, this is for you guys to ask some questions. I want you guys to be familiar with Sheldon, Rachel DelTondo, Tyreek Pugh, Jamie Brown. I want you guys to be, I want you to know about the cases and about why I went to Aliquippa, Pennsylvania in the first place. A lot of you guys know that I reside in Ohio. Pennsylvania's right next door. Give it up for my son Jax. He's here with me today. He wants to recap as well. So again, hello everybody. Those of you guys that are going to catch us on replay, this live with Lana is something that I will be doing throughout the next couple months in the afternoon time, and it's a chance for any questions. It's a chance for people that maybe want to come forward to be able to snag an email address of myself and do something anonymously, to go through friends. I know people in Aliquippa for the past several years. They don't want to talk, and I could see why. So, but this episode here, this live, a little bit laid back. Grab yourself a beverage, or listen with your ear. You guys can ear hustle. Couple things I want to bring up is if you want to check out the Truth and Transparency Facebook group, it is public up until February 26th, the evening of. If you are not a member of Fight for a Family, you will be removed at that time. So it is, free to get in there now with the Facebook group. But if you don't have a membership with Fight for a Family, which you can obtain by going to www.fightforafamily.com. Right now, you can buy 3 months, get 3 free. Otherwise, it just charges you $10 a month. Again, it's a nonprofit. It's for donations. With your membership, you are helping be able to afford the time spent on investigating cases. We've done anywhere from help by diapers for family members to saving up to get expert witnesses. So Fight for a Family for a reason. Not only do those that are wrongfully convicted, they're going through a hard time, but the family as well. Their names are blasted everywhere. They get quote unquote labeled that they had something to do with something just because of the connection. So joining Fight for a Family, $10 a month is a good way to waste your money if you feel like it's a waste. It's a good way to waste it. Again, hello to everybody in live chat. I want you guys to be as familiar with the case as you possibly can. And when I say the case, it's multiple cases because I look at it as Aliquippa as a whole, with the unsolved murders, and Fight for a Family specifically is working with Jamie Brown, Sheldon Jeter. We want to get justice for Rachel DelTondo. That involves, victim Pugh. When you get the truth, then everybody gets that justice. But when you wrongfully convict somebody, you're not getting that justice for that victim, and that's my belief with Sheldon being behind bars in prison right now. I'm going to play this clip again because Santa Cola, his attorney, says that he wouldn't change a thing. He wouldn't change a thing in the way that they prepared and represented Sheldon Jeter Jr. And, well, the own Judge Tesla disagreed with even that statement at direct appeal, where Sheldon's attorney, Corey Woods, was arguing and Tesla made it very known that Sheldon's attorneys did. So it's either one. You can support through the website, or you could support through the YouTube channel. Either one. I mean, more of like a personal preference with that, I guess. Down the road will probably matter. But right now, you have to take the support any way you can get it. It's also very important for me to bring up the fact that Fight for a Family isn't about dividing. a town. Okay, I'm not in a business to divide a town. I believe the town's already divided. And it's not necessarily divided black and white. Even though Aliquippa, 9,000 people, 50% white, 50% black. Aliquippa is like a second home to me right now. I've had numerous trips there since it'll be a year here in March that I've been traveling back and forth. Sometimes I just go for the day. Other times I've been there for a period. But Fight for Family is not about, and nor is Truth and Transparency about dividing and conquering. It's about uniting and supporting. So with that said, I think that what everybody has to realize in Aliquippa is that just because you heard something doesn't mean it's true. So again, just because you heard something on the street, just you heard something, even from a cop, doesn't mean it's true. Everything that myself and my nonprofit organization does, it's all mine. When I say I work with the families, my investigations, my information, how I go about doing things, it's mine. When you run an organization, especially one that involves high emotions and personal relationships, professional relationships, if you can't divide the two up and keep things separate, that's how your work can be skewed. People may say that I'm emotionless with some stuff. No, I'm just very, I can compartmentalize things. I just think that I'm pretty good at, I don't know, flicking on and off a switch. And I've been an athlete my whole life. And when it's game time, it's game time. It's a time to joke around. It's a time to be serious. But at the end of the day, if I was to ever come across evidence that showed Sheldon, committed this crime, or Jamie Brown committed the crime, or anybody for that matter, if a family member that I was helping their family and I came across evidence, I would not hide that evidence. I would not. My agenda is for truth, and I do it through transparency, hence the channel. You're always going to have sources, I guess you could say. But sources are like what? I mean, at the end of the day, either you know something or you're just repeating what you heard. And let's be honest, when you ear hustle, you don't usually get it right. And that's the problems. So it's better off to just say, I wasn't there, or this is what I personally saw. And that's that. But what doesn't lie, and what I base all my investigations usually on, is digital evidence. Very direct evidence. And in this case, there was evidence that if Sheldon's team did the right thing, or I should actually say do their jobs, Sheldon wouldn't be where he is right now. So they're a silent partner. I'm going to have to agree with you there. And quit police shot that DelTondo girl for sure. Quit police are criminals and always have been. Well, there's definitely a lot of evidence that supports those sayings. But most importantly, people are in the Pittsburgh area, the Alpha area, the Pugh area, and the joined hella numbers have gone up over the past 24 hours. And I know that people may talk about that, and I do want to address this. In order to get it right, just because I may talk about you or bring you up, it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. Just because you're mentioned in a post on my YouTube channel. If I want to get the attention of individuals, when they can see something and they can say, that's not right. I have this or I have that. You guys don't know what the reports are that the police got, because everybody just count something, and the police just have this folder, okay? And then this folder, they then put it all together and they come up with a narrative. Nobody knows what anybody else said for the police to come up with this narrative. So, and you don't even know what the police say that you said, unless it's on recording, which I highly recommend. I highly recommend that you never talk to the police without a lawyer present in Aliquippa, period. But what this said is, if the police are as corrupt as we think in the area, then they have no problem changing statements. And that's what happened in the Jamie Brown case. You know, so then you go to read this discovery. Jamie Brown reads his discovery, and all these years later, and goes through stuff because you're entitled to your discovery. And he's thinking that everything that he sees, that's what that person said. It's not. It's not. When a police officer or a detective writes a report, they're going off of their notes. They have the notes there, they type it up, and then a good police officer is going to include their notes with their report. Shady shit is the notes disappeared, and hey, yeah, that's my report. Well, in Aliquippa, in Beaver County, what's been happening, and it dates, years back, the police led people to believe that other people are batting each other out. They wanted you to believe that so that you took care of the problem. So police don't have to take care of the problem. You're going to take care of the problem. You think that this boy right here just talked mad shit on you. So what do? You take care of him. The police are getting you to do the dirt that happened for years. They're letting you think that certain people are rats, certain people are this, and certain people are that. What I was able to uncover in the Jamie Brown case was just that. Also in the Jamie Brown case, I was able to uncover that after Officer 9 was shot and dead, that they swiped his badge to change the time of death. That he was actually still alive because he swiped it while he was doing his walks. You cover details, digital evidence that shows the real truth that most would overlook or perhaps look at those details differently. Exactly. The state has a case. The state has a narrative. That's what they want to go with. When you make an arrest within 24 hours or less, and that's what they did with Sheldon. I go ahead and I look at what did you possibly have in those 24 hours to make that arrest? What didn't you get until later on? And that's why when you hear of cases, I can't believe they haven't made an arrest yet. It's been a week, or it's been 2 weeks, or it's been 3 weeks. Yeah, because you should not go around arresting people. You should be doing your work as a police officer and as a detective. You should be going and visiting the places, surveillance. You should be talking and getting the things that you need to get, because cameras will get quote unquote copied over, surveillance and stuff. Unless you believe somebody is, or you have an eyewitness, they're going to possibly go and keep killing people. Getting it right is important. And if you have to take more time to do that, you have to take more time to do that. So, that being said, let's see here. Okay, that should be better with the sound then.
Concerned about him being on the streets, and now he's not.
There is an opportunity for appeals in this case. Santa Cola believes attorneys will take a look back at the jurors to see if they had any prior knowledge of Jeter Jr., because he has made a number of headlines in connection to another case, the Rachel DelTondo murder. Now, as for what's next, that will be...
Beaver County handed down a guilty verdict today in the trial of Sheldon Jeter Jr. Jeter, convicted of shooting and killing his friend Pugh last year. Nicole Ford is live with reaction from lawyers on both sides. Nicole.
Ken, there's no question from both the defense and state that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence in this case. Well, it wasn't clear following closing arguments which way the jury would go. This afternoon, they convicted Sheldon Jeter Jr. for first-degree murder. Nearly 2 weeks after Sheldon Jeter Jr. first entered this courtroom, he's now leaving convicted of murder. He
thanked us for our work, and we'll have an opportunity to talk to him later.
While defense attorney Michael Santacola doesn't know what the 23-year-old is thinking, he exclusively tells KDKA he's surprised by the verdict.
If you watch the closings and you watch some of the presentation of the evidence, some of the cross-examination, I think there was reason to pause. Obviously, the jury was not unanimous in the beginning of their deliberations, so somebody was thinking not guilty or something other, and they were convinced otherwise.
But Santacola tells me he wouldn't change anything. He believes the defense put up the best case possible. And the Beaver County District Attorney David Lozier says the same for his team.
You never know what a jury is going to do. A jury is a black box that you pour information into, and it depends on the life experience of those 12 jurors.
Okay. So I was there for this trial this past June, and June 2021. The state believed that they had overwhelming evidence, And what that overwhelming evidence is that surveillance cameras had Sheldon leaving Keel Street at 11:35 and 52 seconds p.m. and at 11:39 and 42 seconds, the 911 call went out because somebody came up to the body. Now, the big thing is that they're like, how can you explain that you were there, leaving basically the crime scene just a minute and a half after 911 was called when someone found the body? Well, that's where, as an investigator slash a lawyer in general, I mean, you know that he was a person of interest and a main suspect with Rachel DelTondo. Okay, baby. Run back in here. Good job, boy. Good job, boy. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, but my son always comes first. So so that was their when you want to talk about this overwhelming evidence they claim that they don't have an eyewitness, they don't have a motive. Sheldon told them he was going up to the hill where his cousin lived to bring medicine, and he had to go twice. And there's just a lot of guess you could say confusion, as you could tell when Sheldon's actually answering these questions, because he feels like he answered them, but this guy keeps on saying like, no, but you only came back by yourself, you didn't come back with him. I think there was some confusion of what time he's talking about, like the first time or the second time. And then if you actually like sit and you watch the stuff and you look at things, I began to ask myself, well, how did you know about the Traverse being at that location at that time? How did you find out about that so quickly? How did you, find out about that so quickly? And what I mean by that is there was red flags for me. Rachel DelTondo's murder, 2018, they could not get him on. They tried to get him on it. They couldn't. 2019, he was stabbed and jabbed with Narcan. He did not have drugs in his system. Now it comes to 2020, there's a murder, and we're going to get him this time, and we're going to make it so good that it's like He was there. Look at his car's right here. He's leaving the crime scene, you know? So the first thing I went ahead and did is I wanted to know why Sheldon went up there. Does Sheldon normally go up there? And the answer is no, he doesn't normally go up there. He went up there twice because some gout medicine. And I said, well, how often does he see Pugh? He rarely sees Pugh. So you're going to tell me that on the night that Pugh's murdered, they go and get ice cream, which is what happened the night of Rachel DelTondo's murder. They go and get ice cream. He's normally never down and hanging out and around Sheldon. The last time he saw him twice in 2 years or in a year. He hadn't seen his uncle, his grandfather. So this day and night that he's hanging out, they go get ice cream. Pugh pays for it. He has cash on him, but he's going to use a card. He, gosh, you're eating a lot today. He goes up to Carlicia's where he doesn't normally do this and drop off gout medicine. A lot of weird things going on. So, a lot of weirdness going on that day. When I say weirdness, things that normally don't happen. And then he went up twice to give the same medicine. Why? Why did he have to go back twice? Why did he have to go back a second time? And very simple. I asked, "Are you treating this case like an isolated incident, or do you think that it's do you think it is has something to do with the Rachel DelTondo case?" And we're treating this as an isolated incident. Well, that's just mind blowing to me. Okay, so here we go. Check this out. What type of kid is Sheldon Jeter Jr.? Well, the media wanted to portray him as a gangbanger, thug, blah, 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 blah. That is not true. Let's see. Let's do a little search here. Let's see. I thought this would be better. All right, let's share this. Let's take a look here. March 29th, 2020. New Holy Temple Church. It's his family's church. His grandfather is a pastor. His uncle's a pastor. Drumline battle, Aliquippa verse Central. I thank God for the good work. November 10th, 2019. Let's take a look at this. I think I could back up one. He had 2 different accounts. Again, May 10th. May 10th. May 7th. God hears our prayers. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop praying. I'm going to find my pastor or someone I know that has a close relationship with God. I will pray with them, not only when I'm going through something, but when God blesses me as well. Continue to pray. Thanks, Jesus. Hashtags. He went to his first opera. Like, where's that picture at? Where's that? Like, I mean, when you want to show pictures of Sheldon, why does the media want to portray him in 2012 pictures? It's kind of like what they did with O.J. Simpson when Time magazine made O.J. Simpson blacker. They made him blacker. May 5th, 2020. And again, this murder of Tyreek Pugh was on May 15th. May 5th, 2020. When you get what you want, that's God's direction. When you don't get what you want, that's God's protection. May 3rd, New Holy Temple, first Sunday of May. April 30th, I believe God is going to do it. Stop worrying and put it in God's hands. It's not your battle to fight. He is your help. Hashtag keep the faith. Again, April 26th, New Holy Temple. Again, this is all during COVID. They were doing a lot of, online with the church. Okay. April 23rd, 2020. New Holy Temple Church, April 19th. April 16th, yes, Lord, magnifying your name with all honor. Thank you for this day, allowing me to continue to push forward in the good works you set before me. Remove any darkness that is in my way. April 15th. This is somebody wrote on his page. April 12th, happy Easter, God bless. 12th, happy Easter from the New Holy Temple. Now, I'm showing this for a reason. Because on the night of Pugh's murder, when Sheldon gets back from dropping off the medicine, he begins to upload stuff to Instagram. And he's doing things with his phone digitally. And it's all about the videos and stuff that he was getting ready for his church. What man commits murder at 11:35? What they want to say. Gets home, driving the speed limit, gets home, gets out of his vehicle, walking perfectly fine, not rushing, nothing, goes inside and begins to doesn't make any phone calls, begins to just do the Lord's work. . That doesn't sound like a man that would be in pure panic mode for just putting, I don't know, 7 bullets in somebody. But hey, let's go with their narrative. Let's go back to the fact of how at 3 o'clock in the morning are you walking up to his house to give a death notice? Oh, that's right. Because Pugh's address, he never changed it on his ID. So it said Sheldon's address. Because back when he put that down in 2015, he never changed it. And that is proven with the records with the motor vehicles. So I hear the guilty verdict. I break the news about the juror being Rachel DelTondo's neighbor. So there was some pause that Santicola talks about. And to me, this is a complete setup frame job. And to the point that they knew that they had to do it real good and they needed digital evidence. So that's what they did. Who would know Pugh's address and then it was on a identification card and he never changed it? Who would know that? The police would, wouldn't they? That's Sheldon there testing the mic. That's his uncle. That's his uncle.
Out there. I can see the times when
This is my new Facebook. Created his new Facebook March 29th, 2020. Did you guys know that Sheldon wanted to be a deacon, wanted to be a pastor, and also wanted to be in law enforcement? Does anybody talk about that? Where's the one video? I gotta. Bear was doing his thing. Maybe it's on the other one. I gotta give him props the next time I see it. Maybe on this one. Sheldon was the star football quarterback when he played. He was giving props to the mayor. Gosh, you eat more than I imagine, boy. Love it. Again, welcome all the new names out there. Alcoa, Pennsylvania. The murder of Rachel DelTondo. The murder of Tyreek Pugh. But my investigation had to go all the way back to 2000. The ambush murder of Alcoa police officer James Nime. And something rang a bell with me with all these unsolved homicides. Rachel DelTondo was ambushed. Pugh was ambushed. Officer James Nime was ambushed. These aren't people that are, dying of stab wounds. Everybody's same thing. Gunshots. So let's look at this. Let's see. Now, okay, sorry about that. Where was I with this? Let's go back to, oh, that's right. The Alcoa police officer. I just have a question for you. How did you get a camera and view it from Two Cousins when Two Cousins closes at midnight? How did you go and get that camera footage at 1:30 in the morning? Why is there no police report of that? This officer shows up. This officer shows up to give a death notice, and it's a beeline directly to Sheldon's house. And he writes and says, "Oh, that's the Traverse that we saw on the camera footage that we looked at around 1:30 a.m." What? Wait, what? That's funny. There's no report of that happening. That you going, Officer Alex Bix. There's no report of you leaving the crime scene. You were the first person on scene. Oh, wait, let's talk about that. The dispatch goes out and you arrive on scene within 5 seconds of being dispatched. All equipped police officers are really stepping up their game, man. I'm just getting everybody ready for how I'm about to destroy this case and show it all to you guys. But nobody else thinks that that's just a little ironic. The officer that arrives at the crime scene, he then moves the van. He moves Sheldon's vehicle that night. He moves the van that night. Now he's Superman. Now he's going to go to Two Cousins and review this footage at 1:30 in the morning. How did you get into Two Cousins? It's gated up. You guys want to see what Two Cousins looks like? Check this out. Let's see. I think I have it. Yeah, let's check this out right here. It's going to be interesting. Let's go to... Okay. Mm. Hmm. There should be other images. Here we go. There we go. Okay, you guys see this right here? Two cousins. They gate up these oopsies, right? These windows and that chain door right there. They drop down that gate. You see that? See that little rolly thing that's up there? They pull that down. It's like a garage, but it's like a gate. Okay, they gate that up. So this officer, though, he was the first on scene. He's in the crime scene tape. He's there from 11:42 till 3:33 a.m. when the scene was cleared, and then he goes to Orchard Street, where 3 officers went to give a death notice, and that happened to be Sheldon's, where Sheldon actually lived, because Pugh didn't live there. See that little rolly thing up there that comes down, and that gates that up. Okay. And when he walks up to the house, he says, "Oh, that's the traverse that we saw on this footage that we reviewed and took down all these timestamps and all these descriptions of these vehicles, beginning from 11:35 to like 11:42." Okay, and well, that's interesting. Why didn't you go to Dollar General at 1 o'clock in the morning? Why didn't you go to the gas station at 2 o'clock in the morning? Why did everybody else that you went and got footage from, why did you go the next day in the morning and afternoon? But two cousins whose they close at midnight, you somehow were Superman and you got up in that bitch. You got inside there. Who did you call? Where's your phone records to show who you attempted to call? To say, hey, can you come down and open up your store so we can look at your cameras? Wait, what? And then if that is true, then why didn't you sign onto the crime scene at 1:20 when you left to go do that? And why didn't you sign back in when you came back from doing that? Why does it have you, Mr. Bitts, at the crime scene from 11:42, as you were the first officer there, till 3 a.m. in 33 minutes? So 3:33 a.m. when the scene was finally cleared. So would that mean you guys lied in your search warrant? Okay. You did, didn't you? Because you know what's crazy? Is you didn't obtain the two cousins footage until 5:16 at 5 p.m. That's 1,700 hours. That's 5 p.m. on 5/16. That's when you obtained the footage from two cousins. On 5/16, the murder's on 5/15. But the search warrant was signed at 3:37 p.m. on 5/16. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So how did you Superman this? Bitts and Miller? How did you guys get in to two cousins at 1:30 in the morning? They close at midnight. They close at midnight. Everything's closed. Shit, it's COVID. Why didn't you just use your Alcoa Police Department has cameras? And if you really did this, now wait a second. Is it because you guys were following Sheldon? And that's why you knew that the Traverse was where it was at that time, because you had been following him? Because of something like this? Let me show you. Let me show you something. Is it because of this street right here? Let's see. How can I do this the way that I want to?
I don't want pickles, Mommy.
Well, we're gonna go to dinner.
Mommy loves pickles and popsicles.
Well, we'll just get all to that in a second. Officer Bitts, you couldn't have gotten to two cousins. They're closed. But hey, if you did, that means you had to make a phone call, right? That means the phone records would show that you called. I mean, do you know the owner of two cousins personally? Did you just dial them up on your cell phone and say, "Hey, bro, I really need to get into your store and check out these cameras"? You guys had like a relationship like that? But isn't it crazy though that Trooper Ryan, who wrote up the report, had to wait until 5:19 when they went into evidence to actually pull out of the evidence room on 5:19 the actual surveillance camera from two cousins, to pull it out and to actually look at it, because on 5:20 is when the report was actually written up that talks about all of that. I got you. I got you. What's a lie? Enlighten me. I'm here for it. What's a lie? What's a lie? Tell me what's a lie. I'm excited to see what the lie is. Do you know what a supplemental report is? Do you know what a action report is? Do you know what when you do something when you're in a homicide? You actually have to write a report up for everything that you do. Where's the report of the two cousins' surveillance camera going and getting obtained by Alex Bitts on 5/16 at 1:30 in the morning? Oh, that's right. He just viewed it, right? Well, guess what? He would also be seen on camera then at 1:30 in the morning going into the store to review it. Where is all that stuff? It's not in evidence. I didn't say Marcus was involved. That's what you just said. Who said Marcus is involved? You know what the sad thing is? Is that you're not commenting until somebody says something about somebody, but do you not care that Scatter was wrongfully convicted? But you care that Marcus's name was written in a post? Oh, that's funny to me. I posted his picture because his baby mama said that he unplugged a camera in the house. Do you know that? And I think that Marcus should be able to speak for himself, because what if Marcus didn't unplug that camera? I think that he should know that. But I'm glad that you're here. Never said Marcus was involved with anything. So my accusations, no. Ooh, right there. Remember, people know where you live. Good. I hope you guys send me something. I'll take a, you know what I'll take? I'll take your IP address too. Thank you, honey. That's so pathetic. You know where people know where you live. No, actually, I don't think they do know where I live, but that's cool. But you can come bring me dinner whenever you want. Now, getting back to the point of the police officer lying, and why don't you go watch the beginning of my episode where the police have been lying on Black people's testimony or witness statements, and white people for that matter as well, since 2000, because they're always going to cover themselves. So you might want to look into that. Is that a fact? Is that a fact? I'm going to hold you to it there, Rico. Did Mama get too close to the cookie jar? Oh, poor thing. Did Mama get a little close to the cookie jar? I bet she did. I don't know who's talking about children in here, but in case you didn't know, my content's for adults. Yeah, you want to know why there's only 26 viewers? You know why? It's a sad thing, but I'm trying to get people to start caring when Black people get murdered. That's why there's only 26 viewers. Because nobody cares when Black people get murdered. And nobody cares when Black people get wrongfully convicted. That's why there's 26 viewers. You talk about pretty white people. This fucking room has like 200 to 500. Them's the facts. But your child will be the next murdered. Yeah. So let's go back and talk about that police officer that's clearly got Grover all twisted. Red Rover, Red Rover. Let that glove come over, right? You guys take care. Triggered as fuck. One win for Lana. One win for Lana.